Hello students, now we are going to discuss some important topics in 7th lesson, Dual Nature of Radiation and Matter, Part 2. First one is about Hertz, Hallmark's and Lenard's observation. First, let us discuss about Hertz experiment. Heinrich Hertz successfully generating and detecting the existence of electromagnetic waves. He used high voltage induction coil to cause spark discharge between two metallic spheres. When spark is formed, the charges will oscillate back and forth rapidly and the electromagnetic waves are produced. To detect these electromagnetic waves, a copper wire is bent in the shape of circle is used as a detector. Next one is about Hawk's experiment. In Hertz experiment, in order to improve the visibility of the spark, it is exposed to ultraviolet rays which makes the spark as more vigorous. Wilhelm Haworth confirmed that the strange behavior of the spark is due to the photoelectric emission under the action of ultraviolet light. In Haworth's experiment, a clean circular plate of zinc is mounted in insulating stand and is attached to a gold leaf electroscope by a wire. When uncharged zinc plate is irradiated by ultraviolet light, it becomes positively charged and the leaves are open as shown in figure A. If negatively charged zinc plate is exposed to ultraviolet light, the leaves will close as the charges leaked away quickly as shown in figure B. If positively charged plate is exposed to ultraviolet light, it becomes more positive and the leaves are open further as shown in figure C. From these observations, it is concluded that negatively charged electrons were emitted from the zinc plate under the action of ultraviolet light. Next one is about Lenard experiment. Look at the picture. A and C are two metallic plates placed in an evacuated quartz bulb. Galvanometer G and the battery B are connected in the circuit. When ultraviolet light is incident on plate C and the electric current flows in the circuit, which is indicated by the deflection in the galvanometer. But if the plate A is irradiated by ultraviolet light, no current is observed in the circuit. From these observations, it is concluded that when ultraviolet light falls on negative plate C, electrons are ejected from it, which are attracted by the positive plate A. Hence, the circuit is completed and the current flows in it. Thus, the ultraviolet light falling on the negative plate causes the electron emission from the surface of the plate. Next one is about photoelectric effect. Look at the picture. S is the source of electromagnetic wave of frequency nu and intensity capital I. C is the cathode made up of photosensitive material and is used to emit electrons. A is the anode which collects the emitted electrons. A and C are placed in an evacuated glass envelope with a quartz window that permits ultraviolet light and visible light. PQ is the potential divider arrangement which is connected through a key K and the battery B. The voltmeter V and the microammeter mu A also included in this circuit. If there is no light incident on the cathode C, no photoelectrons are emitted and the microammeter reads 0. When ultraviolet light or visible light is allowed to fall on C, the photoelectrons are emitted and are attracted towards anode. As a result, the photoelectric current is set up in the circuit which is measured using the microammeter. The photoelectric current depends upon the following quantities. They are the intensity of the incident light, the potential difference between the electrodes, the nature of the material, and the frequency of the incident light. Next one is about effect of intensity of incident light on photoelectric current, such that variation of photoelectric current with intensity. Look at the graph. Keeping the frequency nu and the acceleration potential capital V as constant, the intensity of the incident light is varied and the corresponding photoelectric current is measured. A graph is drawn between the intensity along x-axis and the photoelectric current along y-axis. From the graph, it is understood that the photoelectric current such that the number of free electrons emitted per second is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident light. Next, definition for stopping potential. The negative or retarding potential given to the collecting electrode, which is just sufficient to stop the most energetic photoelectrons emitted and make the photoelectric current zero, is called stopping potential or cutoff potential. Once again I repeat, the negative or retarding potential given to the collecting electrode, which is just sufficient to stop the most energetic photoelectrons emitted and make the photoelectric current zero, is called stopping potential or cutoff potential. Next one, definition for threshold frequency. For a given surface, the emission of photoelectrons takes place only if the frequency of the incident light is greater than a certain minimum frequency called threshold frequency. Once again I repeat, for a given surface, the emission of photoelectrons takes place only if the frequency of the incident light is greater than a certain minimum frequency, which is called threshold frequency. Next one is about effect of potential difference on photoelectric current, such that variation of photoelectric current with potential difference. Let the frequency and intensity of the incident light are kept constant. Now the potential of A is increased and the corresponding photoelectric current is noted. Similarly, a negative such that the retarding potential is applied to A and the photoelectric current is noted. Plot a graph taking anode potential along x-axis and photoelectric current along y-axis. From the graph, it is understood that when a potential of A increases, the photoelectric current also increases and reaches a saturation value, which is called saturation current. When a negative potential is applied to A, the photoelectric current does not immediately drop to zero because the photoelectrons are emitted with some definite and different kinetic energies. If the negative or retarding potential of A gradually increased, the photoelectric current starts decreasing and becomes zero at one particular negative potential, that is V0. The value of negative or retarding potential given to anode A, which is just sufficient to stop the most energetic photoelectrons emitted and make the photoelectric current zero, is called stopping potential or cutoff potential, which is nothing but capital V0. Once again I repeat, the value of the negative or retarding potential given to anode A, which is just sufficient to stop the most energetic photoelectrons emitted and make the photoelectric current zero, is called stopping potential or cutoff potential. Here, the initial kinetic energy of the fastest electron is equal to the work done by the stopping potential to stop it, which can be written as EV0 is equal to half mv max squared, where Vmax is equal to root of 2eV0 by m. Substitute the values of E and m and simplify it. You will get 5.93 into 10 power 5 into root V0. Next one is about effect of frequency of incident light on stopping potential, such that variation of photoelectric current with collector electrode potential for different frequencies of the incident radiation. Let us imagine the intensity of incident light is kept constant. The variation of photoelectric current with the anode potential is studied for different incident frequencies. A graph is plotted by taking anode potential along x-axis and photoelectric current along y-axis. From the graph, it is understood that stopping potential vary over different frequencies of incident light, such that greater the frequency, larger the stopping potential. Thus, as the frequency is increased, the photoelectrons are emitted with a greater kinetic energies so that the retarding potential needed to stop the photoelectrons is also greater. This graph shows the variation of stopping potential with frequency of the incident radiation for two metals. From this graph, it is understood that the stopping potential varies linearly with the frequency. Below a particular frequency called threshold frequency, which is nothing but nu naught, no electrons are emitted. Hence, at threshold frequency, stopping potential is zero for that reason. Next one is about laws of photoelectric effect. There are five important points. They are: first one, for a given frequency of incident light, the number of photoelectrons emitted is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident light. The saturation current is also directly proportional to the intensity of incident light. Next point, maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons is independent of intensity of incident light. Next point, maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons from a given metal is directly proportional to the frequency of the incident light. Next point, for a given surface, the emission of photoelectrons takes place only if the frequency of the incident light is greater than a certain minimum frequency, which is called threshold frequency. Next point, there is no time lag between the incidence of light and ejection of photoelectrons, such that the photoelectric effect is an instantaneous process. Thank you, students. Put your doubts in the comment box.